Hello, I'm John Begnaud here to give you some water conserving tips in landscaping. And you know, it's hard to decide how much water and when to water, especially on plants like trees, the woody plants. It's very difficult. But the first thing you need to understand is how do they use water? And they take water up. 95% research shows of these woody plants, the water that they take up is because the water they lose through their leaves. And that means transpiration. Like you and I perspire, plants transpire. There are cells that open up, little pores on the undersides of the leaves called stomates that open up during certain times of the day and allow water to come out. And that transpiration then pulls water in through the roots, 95%. So if you're thinking about it, if they're not losing water because of transpiration, then they're not going to be taking much water up. So when the leaves fall in the fall of the year and there are no leaves in the winter, the plants virtually need no water. Just enough water to keep the soil moist to keep the roots alive. Pecan trees are great examples. Maybe once a month irrigating lightly enough to keep the soil moist is all that you need. Now, on the converse, when spring arrives, the demand for water is tremendous because you're pushing out new growth. And in the case of trees, if you'll just think about it, about 90% of the woody trees that we grow in West Texas put on about, let's say 90% of their growth in that first 60 days of spring. So water in that period, March, April, and early May, is extremely critical. So the months of November, December, January are not very critical for woody plants, trees, and shrubs. So remember that you can conserve an awful lot of water. So the water goes out of the leaves only when there are leaves present, and it's also governed by temperature, wind speed, humidity, those things. In the summertime, when the humidity is low and the wind speeds are high and the temperatures are high and day length is long, the demand for water 2, 3, 4 times what it is in the wintertime. And here's a live oak. It doesn't lose its leaves in the wintertime. Does it use water? The answer is yes. But are the transpiration rates way, way low in the winter compared to those in the summer? Yes, they are. So again, a tree like this might need watering once a month through the winter. The next most critical thing is, where do you put water? Some of us used to put water next to the trunk, and we do that when they're first established. But as the tree grows, the roots grow, and they grow out to the drip line and beyond. And what current research shows that if we'll concentrate our water in this area around the edge of the drip line of trees, you're able to give all the water those trees need. And even one more little fact. If you're governed by or controlled by concrete slabs in neighbors' yards and you're able to water only one side of this drip line, you're able to keep that tree very healthy if you water it correctly. And correctly is the amount of water, the duration of water, frequency, all of those things are the amount of water, and the frequency. How often do you water? Those two things are very critical in water conservation. Remember that when you water 1 inch of a clay loam soil, or a clay loam soil with 1 inch of water or rain, it only goes about 5 to 6 inches deep. This tree needs water down deeper than that. So some point in time during extremely dry periods, this edge of this drip line will need to be soaked pretty good to get water down about 12 to 18 inches.